Got
And then
it.
we'll admit them. All right.
You are now recording.
Great. All right. Well, welcome. Hello, everyone. My name is Dawn Larson, and I am the sponsor of this year's first ever Washington State FBLA online hackathon. I am a VP at Starbucks in technology operations, and I have put together, with the help of many, many people across FBLA and industry, this online hackathon. Given the current state that we all find ourselves in with COVID-19, we have given a theme to this hackathon related to COVID-19. So with that, I'm gonna jump right in terms of the agenda for our time today. First off, I just want to welcome you all, and then we're going to get deep into what a hack is, and we have some special guests from Starbucks and Microsoft here to walk us through that. Then we'll talk about the Washington FBLA focus and our hack theme, what the requirements, ratings, logistics, timeline, and et cetera are. And then we've set up a special Slack channel in order to manage our event. We've got judges and coaches that will be helping us in this endeavor throughout the time that we're together. And then we will wrap up with some Q&A. We will be having live chat during the entire event, though you will be muted during the presentation piece. We will open it up and unmute you all for Q&A at the end. Just a reminder that this is a sanctioned FBLA event, and as such, all the FBLA Code of Conduct rules apply. So, but we hope that you'll enjoy the program and have fun while doing this. So let me just dive right in. So I already introduced myself, Dawn Larson. I am also a board member for Washington State FBLA, and have been working with our fellow board members on coming up with this hackathon. I have a long history with FBLA and Phi Beta Lambda, the collegiate division. That's me over there in the lower left-hand corner when I was running for state treasurer of Washington, which I did win in 1983. So I got all my tchotchkes and my, my pins and everything on there. That was a long time ago. But it certainly was something very memorable for me. My time in FBLA and PBL was very formative and has helped me greatly to get to where I am today. And so I just like to congratulate all of you for being part of FBLA, because it is really important, very formative, and will help you in all aspects of your life as you move forward. So today we also have two other presenters. So we have Carly Slater, who is program manager and runs our hackathons at Starbucks. We also were fortunate to have Susie Kanzor, who's the director of hacking at the Microsoft Garage. And the two of them will kick us off here with telling us what a hack is.
Fantastic. So this is Susie Kanzor. I apologize that I don't have my video on, but it seems to be crashing my computer right now. So all of these kind of little things that we're realizing in this new way of working. I am the director of hacking at Microsoft, and specifically I sit in an area called the Microsoft Garage. I'm incredibly excited and very honored to be here with you today. And I hope that you are as excited as we are about this amazing opportunity. So in my day job, I run what is called the 1 Week Hackathon. It's the world's largest private hackathon. And this year, it will be the world's largest virtual hackathon. So we are very much doing exactly what you're doing, is we are going to be going 100% virtual. When you're looking at what mean for hacking, many people get that kind of wrong from the beginning. They think it means breaking something, or they think it means only writing code. We don't look at it that way at Microsoft. We look at it as a rhythm and an opportunity for you to take an idea that you have and do something with it. So it's not about, when you get out into your careers, sometimes you'll get in a situation where it's all about the manager telling you what it is that you should do and what things are innovative and that kind of thing. This is very different than that. This is about you personally being able to have an idea and do something with that idea. It's not talking about that you would do something with that idea, it is actually doing it. So, one of the challenges that you'll have here is what kind of proof of concept or what am I going to make? That's going to really get my idea across. Is it going to be, PowerPoint slides? Is it going to be a business plan? Is it going to be a marketing plan? What is it going to be? And then also, how do I tell that story? How do I tell the story and bring the person watching on the journey with me, that they know what my idea is and how I brought my idea to life? And that's what over 27,000 employees at Microsoft did last year, is they had projects, and what they did was they took a personal idea, something they were passionate about. It could be anything in, a personal passion. I want to save the ecosystem for dolphins in the ocean. It could be something with their day job. It could be something related to nothing in their day job. All of these things were possible, but we had over 8,000 projects last year. And many of those projects actually make it into Microsoft products, go on to be other, really noteworthy things. I'll give you an example. If you may have heard of the Xbox Adaptive Controller, which allows people with challenges with ability, it allows them to do gaming. That idea came from the Microsoft Hackathon from one employee who had an amazing idea and was able to make a difference in the world. So what I would say about this opportunity, this is really your opportunity to be great. This is your opportunity to take your idea and really make a statement and do something with your idea and take chances and take a risk. We're really looking forward to seeing what you create. I am really looking forward to seeing all these videos and all the amazing work that is done. And thank you once for including me in this wonderful engagement. And that's all I got for you now. So I'm going to pass it over to Carly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Susie. And we got to hack at the Microsoft Hackathon last year, which was really very cool. And I'm definitely going to miss the tent this year. They have a big, giant tent they normally do. So I'm excited to see what they do with it virtually. The thing that I want to talk about, and Don, I don't know if you want to move to the next slide. I made a couple of slides for us, is about how great solutions start with great problems. And so this is just a little bit around what does it mean to create an idea, create a solution to something that could potentially be really broad and really big, and then turning that into a feasible idea, especially when you have things like time limits, working across teams, and you need to kind of create that in what is a 3-minute video and a 1-pager. You're unlikely to try and cure all of cancer all at once. So a great problem statement is where we start with that. And the key to it is it's concise, has a lot of info in it, and it includes, and this is really important, metrics. So what it doesn't include is a solution. When we start with a solution, we narrow what we can do. So if we think we already know the solution, what happens is we sometimes don't always end up solving the problem or solving the right problem or solving a feasible piece of that problem. So I'll go to the next slide and see if I can come up with a really good example for this. We're going through trying to find a great problem statement versus a not awesome problem statement. And I was working with, a bad problem statement is I need a Nintendo Switch. And this is a real thing in my life where I've been running around for a week going, I need a Nintendo Switch. And it was because, what is the problem? Well, I don't have one. And you can see really immediately it becomes incredibly vague. It's, what problem does, but when I break down what that really is what is the problem? Well, my friends are all playing a game that I want to play and it looks like fun. Who has this problem? Just me. Where does the problem occur? It's in my house, kind of on my computer. When does the problem occur? And this is where my problem kind of fell apart. For about 30 seconds every other day, I have jealousy of my friends. And all of a sudden I realized I don't really need a Nintendo Switch. I realized that I wasn't spending enough time with my friends, because when I went back, I was like, oh, my problem is really that I feel left out and that I don't know the things that my friends are doing. I don't have that in common with them. So I've kind of built it back. And that's a really silly example, obviously, but we've had things, that when we break it down, a lot of my examples are business examples, but I'll kind of go with something that one of your coaches did, if that's not too impressive. But one of the coaches that we have, her name is Hillary, and she is an awesome, awesome human being. Love her. And she looked at how we do scheduling at Starbucks. And one of the things that she noticed is it's really hard for our for our stores when they don't have enough people for a shift. They actually end up like calling each other, and it's all very manual process for them to try and get the right amount of people on a shift in a store. We didn't really have a system for it. And so she kind of broke it down into what a really great problem statement was for that. She didn't say, hey, we need a new piece of software. She didn't say, oh, well, we need to hook everybody up with walkie-talkies. What she started with was, it's really hard for our managers to fill their shifts. And then she started breaking it down into, why is that hard? Well, it's hard because they're not as connected. And here are the results of how they, here's what they do now, and here's how they try. And when she got to the end of it, she created something very small that solved a smaller problem than just get more staff or whatever the knee-jerk reaction might be to that problem. So if we go to the next screen. And a lot of this is based around design thinking. And if you've ever heard of design thinking, it's really cool. And what it kind of does is helps you break down, and I'll throw some things into our Slack channel for this. So, a little more step-by-step about how one breaks down a problem. And that is, for design thinking, is a really nice set of tools that you can use to do this. One of them is empathizing. Sometimes what's missing when we go to solve a problem or we go thinking about a problem is that we're thinking about our view of it. It's when we get a lot of different views that we start to see more of what that is in here. So this is a really sort of popular visualization for design thinking. Empathize, define, test, prototype, and ideate, which is a little bit like evaluate in this particular instance, and defining why is it important. Doing your customer research in a hack is really, really important. Is this a needed thing? You can come up with a really great idea, but is it the thing that's needed? And then kind of doing a little bit of test internally before you really commit to what it is that you are going to then make. And so that's kind of where we get to with problem statements. The key is here, the biggest message I can give you is don't start with a solution. Start by really defining what your problem is so that more ideas and more solutions can come to you. And I think that covers it. So
hey,
Dawn,
Carly, Susie, question for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
So, based on what you're talking about, could you talk about the importance of the diversity of putting together a team to work on a hack?
Oh gosh, yes, that's a great question. We actually had this at Starbucks where we started implementing a rule that said we needed to have people from across teams. There's an expression that says when you have a hammer, everything is a nail. When you have more diversity of perspective, when you have people from different locations, urban versus rural, or, different socioeconomic, pretty much everything about your background will give you access to more information. And so the more variety of thought processes and perspectives and like worldviews that you have, the more focused your problem statement will be, and the more effective your solution's going to end up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Susie, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'll jump in as well. Want to echo number one, everything that Carly has said about coming up with, a good project that you're going to work on. I think the one thing I would add is start very open-minded, right? Start very open-minded. Think about really what is this challenge, and what is, before you start also ruling things out and saying this won't work, that won't work. Be really open-minded about it, because you may find the craziest suggestion from somebody ends up being your solution. And then in terms of diversity, we talk about this with Microsoft employees all the time. The more diverse a team is, the likelihood of their project coming out better. In our case, the likelihood of them ever winning in our hackathon is, it is always the more diverse teams that do better. And when I say that, I mean, that could be different disciplines, that could be people from different parts of the world, that could be people different of ages, that could be people who have different majors for you, and different interests in their life. The more different things like that, the better. And we always have to actually talk to employees about this, because there is this huge comfort zone that people have, this desire. Okay, I have my 3 friends that I know in FBLA, and I'm going to get together with those 3 friends, and we're going to do a project. Like, great, and that might totally work for you. But I would also challenge you, and I would say, try to make sure that at least one person that you're working with, that you're getting one outside perspective. Get one outside perspective. If you're working on your project alone, call up somebody that you have met in your life in some other respect and ask them what they think of your project. Getting feedback and customer feedback on an idea or something like that does not have to be complicated. We often say to employees, we say, if you want to test your idea, go to one of our cafeterias on our campus and walk around and ask 5 people what they think of your idea. That's some of the best ways to get that. You know what I mean? If you're, ask your mom, ask your dad, ask, a family friend, all those kind of things. That is getting outside perspectives that are going to help you really form your idea, and going to help you and probably really challenge you. So take this as a really cool opportunity to do that, because we don't get that many chances in life to do this, right? To work on something that is truly unique, that you're creating from the outset. So those would be the things that I would say about it.
That's awesome. All right, well, cool. Thank you, Carly and Susie. I'm gonna move us on, and we're gonna talk next about the hack theme itself. Obviously, this is the first time that we're doing a virtual state FBLA conference. We had planned to do a hackathon in person last week when we were to meet in Spokane. But given the fact that we moved to virtual and the reasons for it, we thought that it would be a great opportunity as a hack theme for us to look at the impact of COVID-19 on school closures and what that's meant for all of you as students, your schools, your families, and the challenges that you may be experiencing right now. So the challenge is, what ideas and potential solutions do you have to help alleviate the challenges being encountered due to school closures? Just some examples of some things you might think about, obviously, are like, how do you stay connected with friends? How do you continue learning? How do you think about your fellow students that maybe are having challenges with having access to food? It could be a variety of things. And one of the things that you'll see on the Slack channel that we put together are some other themes that the World Health Organization put out, around education and access to food and various things along those lines that will give you potentially some other ideas. But really, this is greenfield for you in terms of taking this particular hack theme and making it personal, in terms of some of the, maybe even the things that have been bothering you, and giving you an opportunity to give voice to yourself, to your ideas, and try to do something about it, as Susie mentioned earlier. So with that, I'm going to jump into some kind of nitty gritty requirements, logistics, and the like. So from a requirement standpoint, we're asking essentially for 2 things. But there is a submission form that you need to go to on the Try Leadership, which I have the link there across the bottom of the slide. But you need to basically present by the deadline, which is April 24th at 5 p.m., which is your common deadline for submitting anything related to the various events. but we're looking for a 3-minute video. And you can upload that video. You can do it via YouTube, via Vimeo, whatever your solution of choice is. And then it's just important that you make sure that you put it out there on that share. And then we'd also like a one-pager in terms of your solution. So that's pretty short, needs to be pretty concise, basically walking through what your problem was and what the solution is that you've come up with. It's going to be very important as part of the submission form to talk about who your team is, because one of the things that you'll see as next as our ratings is a line item, a criteria around having diversity in your team, just as you heard from Susie and from Carly. So from a ratings perspective, we are following the same format as any other FBLA competitive event. And so there will be a ratings sheet that our judges will use to evaluate the various submissions that we receive. From an expectation standpoint, you demonstrate in the video and the one-pager that you understand the hack theme. So that you should make sure that it relates to COVID-19 and school closures in some shape or form. It should be logical with a solution and providing some aspects of how you might implement it. Obviously, the presentation needs to have a logical flow. We'll also be looking at the demonstration of creativity and/or out-of-the-box thinking. And then here's the one that's maybe different for you, because most time in the competitive events for FBLA, it's really about what you do within your chapter or on your own. And so as part of this hackathon, we are really looking for you to find members from different FBLA chapters. And so if all of your team members are from different chapters, you're going to get more points than if all your members are from your chapter. And so this is really about promoting that diversity as we spoke about before. And then from a delivery skill, your typical FBLA in terms of demonstrating self-confidence, poise, assertiveness, etc. Got to make sure your grammar and spelling and punctuation are good. And then we just want to make sure, obviously, that the video plays, because if the video doesn't play successfully, it's going to be pretty difficult for us to evaluate your submission. So you're going to want to make sure that that's working. And then just from a penalty standpoint, we only want videos that are 3 minutes, so we will only evaluate the first 3 minutes. So there will be penalty points that come off if you go over. Of course, there's a dress code for FBLA, so we want to make sure that you're following that. And if you only submit a video and not the one-pager, then there would be some points that come off for that as well. We will have one Judge's Choice Award that will be announced at the May 6th award session. And the Judge's Choice will get their video played at the virtual conference. So that's pretty cool. So timeline. We're kicking off today here with this event, with this call. Registration is going to be handled on the Slack channel, which I'm going to walk you through in a minute. So the key there is that you go in, you sign in, and you can find people, and you can present ideas, and you can find fellow teammates from across Washington State FBLA to work on potential ideas and solutions. You will have between now and, as we talked about before, April 24th at 5 p.m. To submit your video and your one-pager and your project. Our set of judges will take your submissions, and we will have approximately 10 days in order to review your submissions and provide ratings, culminating in a Judge's Choice Award, as I mentioned, at the May 6th award session. So I want to talk a little bit about our judges, because this is pretty cool, I think. We have a really great mix of people. We have 9 judges this year, and I feel really happy about the mix and diversity of folks from certainly Washington FBLA board, of which I'm sure many of you are familiar with Adam Smith. Jacinda Darmany, I hear, has quite a lore with respect to how he judges events. And then, of course, there's myself. From industry, we have Susie, who's volunteered to help us out. Adam Shepard, he's a director of emerging technology at Starbucks. He's got a really interesting background from Microsoft to running his own startup to winning an Emmy. So I think he's going to be really interesting for us as part of this. Shivani, she's coming to us from Panera Bread. She's a senior manager and lead commerce architect. She's actually joining Starbucks next Monday. So we're excited to have her join as an architect. Jonathan is a managing director at Ernst & Young. He's a former Marine, and he is very involved in all sorts of community activities. And then we have Wayne Teeger, who's another Microsoftie, but he and I worked together there long ago. And he has founded and is co-owner of his own startup called Strike Zone Technologies based in Seattle. So I think we should have a really good base of judges. Really looking forward to the feedback in particular that this group of folks can provide, and think it's a great learning opportunity for all of us in terms of how they will help us out. And our coaches. So our coaches are a diversity of folks too. And what's cool about our coaches, and I should say what our coaches are going to do. There is a Slack channel where you can reach out to these folks, and they have special magical skills, as I like to say, that they can help you in your endeavor to find a problem, to organize yourselves, to if you have questions about data visualization or how to present something, or just to get unblocked in any way, shape, or form, they are going to be a resource available to you. And so you would go to the hashtag coaches channel within Slack and access these folks. So as Carly mentioned earlier before, Hillary Rudolph, she's won multiple awards at our internal Starbucks hackathon. She's excited to be able to be your coach. Mary, who's online with us, she's got amazing communication skills. She's got a lot of not-for-profit experience, and is somebody that can kind of help you on those fronts. Dia Shaker, she's at Microsoft. She and her team, and maybe Susie's aware of this one too, but she and her team recently won the Microsoft Spring Hack for Good event focused, and they had a solution focused on COVID-19. So she's right up there in terms of some of the things that she can help out with. Morgan Lafreo, she's a data scientist at Starbucks. So, from a data expert, she mentors a lot of our interns, and she's an active community volunteer as well. Raza's at Oracle. He's a manager in SaaS solution security assurance at Oracle, understands Agile, and he's really good storyteller at pitching products and gaining support for projects. And then on the left, we've got Burhan. He's also at Oracle. He's a manager in problem management, which is really about like when you have any kind of issue with your service or your software. If there's an issue that comes up with it, it's called a problem, and he makes sure that those problems go away. But he's really energetic. He's participated himself in lots of hack events, and his magical skill is really helping people get organized and stay organized, as well as develop a communication strategy. So hopefully, this group of coaches, and I'm sure others will lean in on that channel too if need be, but these are our primary coaches for this event, and you should make sure to avail yourselves of them. So if you put your question or the help needed in that coaches channel, they will endeavor to respond within 24 hours to your question. So then let's talk a little bit about the Slack channel. So I don't know how many people are familiar with Slack, but Slack is definitely a platform that we use in the corporate world a lot to collaborate and communicate with our fellow colleagues. And so we put together a Slack channel for this that is dedicated to this event. So it's called the Slack Workplace, and it's the Washington FBLA for COVID-19 Online Hackathon Workspace. And so I just want to kind of orient you a bit to the left-hand nav, where you'll see a number of things. In particular, though, I want to have you look where it says channels about halfway down, right in here. There's hashtag announcements. So this is just going to be where general announcements go and only us as administrators will be able to share announcements there. So you'll find things around the timeline, deadlines coming up, a reminder of where to post things in this channel. The next one is your coaches. So you'll be able, this is the channel where you will go to ask your questions and ask for help. And you'll also see who the coaches are there. The third one, of course, is the FBLA Code of Conduct. So I think you all know that, but just a reminder that that's where you would find that very easily. General's just general. You know, you can really kind of put anything out there, but it should probably be more specific to this event. Hashtag hack ideas. This is where you are going to go and put your ideas in for things that you would like to collaborate. And this is where you will hopefully find other people from other chapters where you guys can find common interest in an idea that you want to work on. And then the hack theme, that's basically what we communicated here earlier, but you will find more information there about the hack theme, as well as some of the different other resources I talked about from the World Health Organization, and what makes a good theme from that standpoint. The next one is just an introduce yourself. So if you come to the Slack channel, it'd be really great if you just introduce yourself and say what chapter you're from, and what your interests are and what you hope to accomplish through this hackathon. Then the same with judges. So you'll see who our judges are and a little bit more information about them. Random's just random. So it could be anything. Doesn't have to be about this event at all. And then requirements. This is where you're going to find the information about the submission, the video, and the one-pager. You're going to find some tips there with respect to what makes a good video, as well as what should be included in the one-pager. And then you'll find the ratings, and you'll find the rating sheet that goes into more specifics about what we're looking for from that standpoint. And then finally, the last one is the hashtag toolkit. And so this is a place where we will provide some good resources for you as you go through this event with us. There's a quick and easy guide to how to use Slack out there. We're going to be posting how to make a good video out there. And then certainly I think that this is an area for all of you to also contribute to, for things that you find that would be helpful for your fellow hackathon participants. Then the last thing, I guess one thing I didn't mention up front is that you're going to need to sign in. So I'm providing a link here right afterwards. You'll go to that link and you'll need to sign in and create and add yourself where you're added to people. And then you would add yourself to the various channels that you are interested in learning and hearing more about. And then one important thing too that I'd like to call out is you can use any collaboration platform that you want to be able to work with others in terms of, if you want to use Google Docs, or you want to use Teams, or you want to use Zoom, for example. You are free to use whatever solution you want to on that standpoint. The Slack channel's here really just for you to find people and to, share ideas and form teams, and then be able to have access to information about the event and to the judges and coaches. There is a really interesting feature though, as part of Slack, that's about creating a private channel. So once you've formed your teams, you can create your own private channel, and I would encourage you in the instructions to look for that. So if you have, somebody from Columbia High School in White Salmon, and somebody from Camas High School, somebody from Cedro Woolley, et cetera, the three of you could form a private channel where you can collaborate and discuss what your idea and potential solutions are. So I think it's a really fun platform. I think you'll get a lot out of it. And certainly we're looking for as many suggestions and feedback as possible. This is really our first time doing this as well. So we're going to be learning along with you about what works and what doesn't work. And hopefully we can put on a very successful hackathon for you, and make it be something that's repeatable for us. So with that, it's really about, let's see, slide's not forwarding. There it is. This is the link that you would go to, and I think y'all work with Dawn and Sarah, who I forgot to introduce earlier. Darn it. So Don Schmidt and Sarah Magne obviously are our FBLA directors. I will be working with them to make sure that you all have access on our appropriate virtual conference sites where to go to sign up. But you can certainly, you'll be getting this deck and you'll be able to click on this link in order to be able to access the Slack workspace. And with that, we're on to Q&A. So I think, Mary, I think we're going to open up the live chat now. So I'm going to drop out of screen share. Awesome.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Mary, one of the coaches, and look forward to answering any questions you have. There were a few questions regarding the link to sign up on Slack, and so we've posted that in our chat. If you have any other questions, though, go ahead and feel free to ask them. You guys are all unmuted right now and can ask any one of us and how we can help with the project.
I'll just answer Adam's question, who is asking where this recording will be loaded. I'm gonna, looks like Sarah responded to that up above in terms of it being posted on the Washington FBLA website on the SBLC page. And then we'll be also adding a resource to the virtual conference portal. I'll just go through some of these because I see some questions. So where can we find the rating sheets and other resources after this webinar? So you would definitely go to the Slack channel, and within the hashtag requirements channel, you will find the rating sheet that is pinned to the top of that channel. Are there any other questions from people? I'd love to just even get any feedback. Like, what do you think? Is this cool? Is there something else you would like to see? How can we, you know, the beauty of a hack is that it can, a hackathon is that you can evolve it while you're in it. And so that's, you know, we're definitely looking to make this as robust as possible. So as you have ideas, feedback, etc., please send it our way.
Can this be physical or a virtual invention, as in like an application or maybe an actual physical item?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it can be anything that you imagine it to be. It doesn't, so, you know, one of the things about this particular hackathon is it's also more of a social hackathon versus a technology-based one. But if if teams want to make it technology-based, they certainly can. You know, maybe as we evolve this year, one of the things we would look to add in next year is a technology platform that allows students to do that more fully. I don't know, Carly or Susie, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's a great question and something we come up with a lot. If it's not something you can actually make, you can make a paper prototype. It just has to be something that could be made. Like it does have to have some basis. You can't be like, and then it will fly on its own with no motor. But otherwise, a paper prototype, something made out of plastic, 3D printed, whatever you happen to have available. Not everyone has 3D printer, but still, some people do. Yeah, you can make really anything, and you want to be demonstrating it using the video.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else?
Oh, I have a question.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I saw a question about their maximum amount of people on a team. What's the minimum number of people on a team?
Well, that's a question for you, Carly. You're the expert.
Right?
What do we find is the ideal size for a team? Yeah.
Yeah, we usually say 3. I mean, we've seen it 2, again, kind of speaking to what Susie was talking about. It can get a little bit echoey in there. It's hard to have diversity of thought and perspective when you only have 2 people. So I'd say 3.
All right. You know, one thing too, maybe this is something that Sarah and Don can speak to, but I believe we have announcements also going out on Instagram and on Facebook. So maybe you guys could speak to what we can do on that front, just to make sure that as many people know about this as possible.
Yes, we are posting to Facebook and to our Instagram accounts, and we're trying to be very, very active with all of those posts. So students, members and advisors can look for posts almost daily. They are pretty active. So, and if any of the advisors or students have any questions, we're more than happy to answer those as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I think we'll call it good here. Just want to thank you all for joining and listening in, and hopefully, we'll get you in as hackathon participants. Please share with your fellow students and friends that this is something obviously we're trying out this year, so we'd love to see as much participation as possible so that we can gain momentum on it and make it a real thing. It is something that we use a lot in the corporate world. So, thank you to Susie and to Carly for their expert participation as part of this. We're really fortunate to have them helping us out on this, as well as the judges and the coaches and everybody else that's making this possible. So with that, I just say thank you, good luck, and we'll see you on Slack.
Thank you, guys.